Traditional farming has fed humanity for thousands of years. It is a noble profession. But today, it faces enormous challenges. Our world has changed. We have a growing population and we need more food than ever before. Traditional farms need huge amounts of land. This often means cutting down forests, which harms our planet's health. The weather is also becoming more unpredictable. Farmers must worry about droughts that dry up their fields. They must worry about floods that wash away their crops. These extreme weather events are happening more often, making farming a very risky business. It is a constant battle against nature. Another major problem is the distance food must travel. Most of us live in cities, far from the fields where our food is grown. A head of lettuce might travel thousands of kilometers. It is picked, packed, and shipped on trucks, trains, or even planes. This long journey uses a lot of fuel, which pollutes our air. By the time the food reaches our plates, it is no longer fresh. It has lost many of its vital nutrients and much of its taste. We are also wasting a shocking amount of food during this long and complicated supply chain. There has to be a better, smarter way to feed our cities. Relying on soil also brings its own set of difficulties. Over time, soil can lose its fertility. Constant farming can strip the soil of its essential nutrients. To solve this, farmers often use chemical fertilizers. To protect their crops from insects and diseases, they spray pesticides. These chemicals can seep into our water sources, like rivers and groundwater. They can harm wildlife and even affect our own health. We are caught in a cycle of using more chemicals to get less healthy food from tired land. This system is not sustainable for the long term. It is time to rethink our relationship with food production entirely. Imagine a new kind of farm. A farm that is not affected by bad weather. A farm that does not need soil. A farm that uses no harmful pesticides. And imagine this farm is located right in the middle of your city, maybe even in your own neighborhood. This is not a dream from a science fiction movie. This is the reality of indoor vertical farming. It is a revolution that uses technology to grow fresh, healthy food anywhere, anytime. This method promises to solve many of the biggest problems of traditional agriculture. It brings the farm directly to the people, changing how we grow and eat our food for the better. Indoor farming is a complete reimagination of agriculture. At its heart are three key technologies: hydroponics, LED lighting, and climate control. Let's start with hydroponics. The word simply means working with water. Instead of growing in soil, plants grow with their roots directly in a nutrient-rich water solution. This solution contains all the essential minerals and elements a plant needs to thrive, delivered right to its roots. There is no dirt, no mess, and no soil-borne diseases. The plants get exactly what they need, when they need it, allowing them to grow faster and healthier than they would in the ground. But plants also need light to perform photosynthesis. In an indoor farm, there is no sunlight. So, we create our own sun using advanced LED lights. These are not ordinary light bulbs. These lights are specifically designed to emit the exact wavelengths of light, the reds and the blues, that plants need most for growth. We can control the intensity and duration of the light, giving the plants a perfect day every single day, without fail. This means we can grow 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, regardless of the season or the weather outside. The sun never has to set on our farms. The final piece of the puzzle is total climate control. Inside a vertical farm, we create the perfect environment for our crops. We use sensors and computer systems to constantly monitor and adjust the temperature, humidity, and even the carbon dioxide levels in the air. If the plants need it a little warmer or a bit more humid, the system automatically makes the change. This precision control eliminates the stress that plants experience outdoors from heat waves or cold snaps. It creates a plant paradise, a stable and ideal world where every day is a perfect growing day, ensuring a reliable and predictable harvest every single time. This combination of technology allows us to build farms vertically. Instead of spreading out over vast fields, we stack our crops in layers, one on top of the other, on tall racks. This is why we call them vertical farms. We can grow an incredible amount of food in a very small footprint. An old, abandoned warehouse in the middle of a city can be transformed into a highly productive food factory. We are no longer limited by the availability of fertile land. We can build our farms wherever people live, turning urban spaces into green, productive oases. This is farming for the 21st century. So, what can we grow in these futuristic indoor farms? We focus on crops that grow quickly and have a high market value. Leafy greens are a perfect example. Things like lettuce, kale, spinach, and arugula thrive in hydroponic systems. They can go from seed to harvest in just a few weeks. Fresh herbs like basil, mint, and cilantro are also incredibly profitable. They grow very fast and are always in high demand from restaurants and home cooks. These crops are lightweight and fragile, so growing them locally in the city eliminates the damage and spoilage that happens during long-distance shipping. We can deliver them within hours of being picked. Another fantastic crop for indoor farming is the strawberry. Traditionally, strawberries are a seasonal fruit, but in a vertical farm, every day is strawberry season. We can produce sweet, juicy, perfect strawberries all year round. Microgreens are another high-profit item. These are tiny young vegetable greens that are packed with flavor and nutrients. Chefs love them, and they command a high price. By focusing on these types of crops, an indoor farm can become a very successful business. It provides a consistent supply of premium products that customers are willing to pay for, creating a stable and reliable income stream. Setting up a small-scale vertical farm does require an initial investment. You will need to purchase the vertical racks, the water pumps, the nutrient tanks, the sensors, and of course, the specialized LED grow lights. A basic setup for a small commercial operation might cost between $10,000 and $50,000. While this sounds like a lot, the running costs are manageable. The main expenses are electricity for the lights and pumps, and the cost of nutrients and seeds. However, the profits can be significant. A small, well-run farm can generate tens of thousands of dollars in revenue each year by selling fresh produce directly to local consumers, restaurants, and grocery stores. The real economic advantage comes from efficiency and reliability. Because you can harvest multiple times a year from the same space, the yield per square foot is enormous compared to a traditional farm. You are not at the mercy of a bad harvest due to weather. Your income is predictable. Furthermore, you can charge a premium for your produce because it is ultra-fresh, locally grown, and completely free of pesticides. Customers love knowing where their food comes from. This local connection builds trust and loyalty, which are the foundations of any successful business. It's a smart investment in a growing market. One of the most powerful benefits of vertical farming is its incredible efficiency with water. Traditional agriculture is one of the biggest consumers of fresh water on the planet. A huge amount of water is lost to evaporation or runoff into the ground. In a hydroponic system, however, water is used in a closed loop. The nutrient-rich water is circulated directly to the plant roots. Any water that the plants don't absorb is captured, filtered, and reused. This means vertical farms can use up to 95% less water than traditional field farming to grow the same amount of food. In a world where water is becoming an increasingly precious resource, this is a game changer. Furthermore, because these farms are sealed, controlled environments, we can grow food without using any pesticides, herbicides, or fungicides. There are no insects to fight off and no weeds to pull. This means the food we produce is cleaner, safer, and healthier for us to eat. It also means we are not releasing harmful chemicals into our ecosystems. This is a huge win for environmental health and for public health. People in cities can finally have access to produce that is not only fresh but also pure and free from chemical residues straight from the farm to their table. The rise of vertical farming is also creating new opportunities, especially for young people. It takes a new set of skills to run these high-tech farms. We need technicians who can manage the computer systems, biologists who understand plant science, and engineers who can design and maintain the equipment. These are exciting, well-paying jobs of the future, located right inside our cities. Vertical farms can become centers for education and training, teaching a new generation how to sustainably feed our communities. They can revitalize old industrial areas and bring new economic life and purpose to urban neighborhoods. The future of our food security depends on our ability to innovate. We cannot continue to rely on a system that is struggling under the weight of climate change and a growing population. Vertical farming is not a replacement for all farming, but it is a vital part of the solution. It is a powerful tool that allows us to produce fresh, safe, and nutritious food right where most people live. By embracing science, technology, and a bold vision for the future, we can build smarter, greener, and more resilient cities. We can ensure that everyone, everywhere, has access to the healthy food they deserve. The seeds of this food revolution are being planted today.